Welcome to the Mobile Cyclist, the show that brings you the best of bicycling's people, places, and things. I'm your host, Anthony Barr. In part one of a special three-part episode, I'm riding across Missouri, exploring the famous Katy Trail State Park. At 240 miles, it is the longest developed rail trail in the country. There's so much to explore on this epic greenway, I couldn't possibly fit it into a single episode. So hold on to your handlebars and join me for part one of the Katy Trail.
Hey folks, I'm at the Katy Trail. It's the longest greenway in America. Standing here at the East Trailhead in Machens, runs 240 miles all the way to Clinton. I'm not going to ride the whole thing, but I'm going to ride a lot of sections of it. Today I'm dressed a little casual, so I'm going to take a shorter ride. Later on in the week, I'll bring you along for some longer sections. This trail has everything from brew pubs to cafes, of course bike shops, and a couple bed and breakfasts along the way. I'm ready to go. Let's get out of here.
Heading west from the eastern trailhead, the first major town folks encounter is the historic town of St. Charles at mile marker 39.5. St. Charles has the distinction of once serving as the capital city of Missouri, and it was the starting point of the Lewis and Clark expedition as they headed west. About an eighth of a mile from the St. Charles trailhead is the Bike Stop Cafe and Outpost.
Hey, I'm with Jody from the Bike Stop Cafe and Outpost, and appreciate you having me today.
It's a pleasure. Thanks for coming by.
So you're, what, how many feet from the trail?
We're about 200 feet from the trail.
Wow.
Yeah, super close.
What do you offer your customers, your cycling customers?
The full cycling experience. So they can rent a bike, they can have lunch, post-ride beer, we can repair their bicycle. Anything they need bike related, we can take care of it here.
Get refreshed and refueled at the cafe and anything bike related around the corner at the Outpost.
Our first store is just a cafe and just bike repair and bike rentals. And our second store is our full line of gear and bikes.
What's the number one thing people come off the trail looking for?
Peanut butter balls.
Peanut butter balls.
Yeah. I actually created them as a treat for my kids when they were little in school, so they have something healthy that wasn't coming out of the vending machine. We went ahead and put it on the menu about a year after we opened, and they turned out to be our #1 seller.
Having recently attained silver status from the League of American Bicyclists, Jody and the crew have created an atmosphere that encourages new cyclists.
We have a lot of people who come and they're interested in biking, so they'll come and have something to eat and they'll sit and they'll watch. And then they'll ask a question like, it's been years since I've been on a bike, I'm a little nervous. You sort of break down that fear barrier by just making it a welcoming place where they can come and observe and feel comfortable before engaging.
The Bike Stop Cafe has one particular feature that makes it a truly unique place to work and live.
This building is actually a reproduction. It was built in 1921 to look like the surrounding 1890s buildings. It was a livery. So it had horse-drawn elevators, and the big doors is where the horses would come in and out.
You can't beat a 20 feet commute down the staircase.
Upstairs, it still has the big elevator crank. We happen to live up there. It's in our living room. It's beautiful. So the train would come, drop off the feed, and they would run it down to the bottom, and the horses would bring out the seed.
Katy Trail travelers get fixed up, geared up, and fueled up at the Bike Stop Cafe and Outpost in historic St. Charles, Missouri. Continuing west on the Katy Trail, I worked my way into the town of Defiance. I met up with Katy Bike Rental owner Todd White, who can design your Katy Trail bike experience just about any way you want.
I gotta ask, how did you get into the bike rental business?
I loved the area, the Katy Trail area, and purchased an old general store building in Defiance, Missouri, right on the Katy Trail. I always had a passion for outfitting or doing something in retirement that would be with the outdoors. I'm retired from a banking job, sitting on a desk, you know, so it was a real calling. Lose 20 pounds the first 2 months of retirement.
What sort of services beyond rental bikes do you offer your customers on the trail?
We rent bikes, obviously, and you can pick them up anywhere on the trail. We also offer shuttle service to take you from one end to the other. We also have auto transport. That's where you park on in like Clinton, for instance, and your car magically appears in St. Charles. And then we also do baggage transfer from community to community.
Got a specific type of bike in mind or adaptive needs? Odds are, Todd has something for you in his arsenal.
So we've got hand crank bikes, we've also got wheelchair bikes, and we also have tandems for like the blind. We outfitted the National Federation of the Blind here recently on a guided trip on the Katy.
It's all about inclusivity. You enable that through your service.
Correct.
In addition to the mobile rental service, there are brick and mortar shops east and west along the trail.
From east to west, we're in Defiance, we're in Augusta. We've also got an affiliate store with Champion Cycles in Sedalia, and most recently we just opened one in Boonville.
What are the top 3 tips that you would offer folks, first-timers specifically, on the Katy Trail?
I would ride it west to east. That would be the first option, okay? Because the prevailing winds are from the west. It's also a little bit downhill. The other one would be proper bike. You don't need a lot of heavy-duty tread on here. You can probably go down to around 32. You start getting a road bike, you get a lot more flats and things. But a hybrid or a sport hybrid, and this time of year, plenty of sunscreen.
So folks, whether you're only doing a couple sections of the trail or the whole entire length, Katy Bike Rental's got you covered. From the mobile services and 4 retail locations, they'll keep you rolling. Todd, thanks very much, appreciate it.
Thank you.
Got to get going to your next tour?
Absolutely.
All right. Moving on, I rolled through the quaint town of Augusta and then followed the trail out of Dutzow, working my way over the beautiful Christopher Bond commuter bridge into the town of Hermann, Missouri. Join me for part 2 of my Katy Trail experience as I drop in for some wine tasting at Stonehill Winery and then all aboard the Amtrak to the capital city. Next time on the Mobile Cyclist.